Covering news that matters in Bartlesville, Lloyd Wright's iconic Price Tower is caught in the middle of several lawsuits.
Fox 23's Bailey Coyle looks at the legal crossfire now that the owner of the skyscraper has filed her own suit.
The 50-page lawsuit was filed on Monday. It claims that the Lloyd Wright Building Conservancy is interfering with Cynthia Blanchard, the owner of Price Tower's ability to sell the historic building.
I told you in August, the Lloyd Wright Building Conservancy filed legal statements against Blanchard. According to the statements, the Conservancy believes it has legal interest in the items inside Price Tower, including the ones sold earlier this year.
Our mission is to ensure that all the remaining buildings designed by Lloyd Wright are protected.
Blanchard has now filed a lawsuit against the Conservancy. In 2011, the owners at the time, Price Tower Arts Center, made an agreement with the Conservancy known as a preservation easement, laying out guidelines in preserving the building. I interviewed the executive director of the Conservancy, Barbara Gordon, in July. She says the easement stays with the tower no matter the owner.
So right now, the Price Tower is now, a year ago, it was sold to a private entity. So no longer the donor, originally in 2011, owns it, but it still runs with the land as all easements do. They will run with the land in perpetuity, and no matter who owns it or who sits in my seat, it is our legal obligation to enforce the easement and to be partners in this to make sure that we are upholding the original desire.
The lawsuit points out Section 20 in the easement. It says, in the event of any cessation of operations or dissolution of either party or termination of grantee's not-for-profit status of a Section 501c3 organization, that easement shall continue in favor of any successor or assignee designated by such party, provided that such successor or assignee is an entity qualified as a Section 501c3 organization dedicated to preservation of historic structures. Blanchard has said several times she believes the easement doesn't stand because her company is not a nonprofit.
I had the right to do it because this is a private company, it's a private corporation, and it's a for-profit business. We are a private for-profit corporation. We are not a nonprofit. This is a private for-profit corporation.
If a judge rules in favor, they would agree the easement is over. Blanchard is also asking for more than $750,000 in damage. In response to the lawsuit, the Conservancy released a statement. The statement says the Conservancy has been in communication with Blanchard and her companies since mid-August, when they notified them of their intent to file a lawsuit to enforce the easement. It goes on to read in part, quote, "The Conservancy decided not to file a suit at that time because Green Copper asked to settle our differences outside of court. They assured us that they would not sell additional items from the collection in contravention of the easement and would permit the Conservancy to discuss the easement with potential buyers of Price Tower, which is currently slated for the auction in November. The Conservancy continued good faith discussions in interest of preserving Price Tower and its collection, while Green Copper was apparently preparing for a suit instead."
The Conservancy goes on in that statement and says that they will respond to the allegations in the lawsuit and that they intend to enforce the easement. In Bartlesville, covering news that matters, Bailey Coyle, Fox 23 News.
This lawsuit comes weeks after the original auction date was canceled. The auction was put on hold because Blanchard is being sued by the McFarland Building Company, claiming Blanchard broke a contract to sell the tower to them.